Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Melanie Sadek, President and CEO of Valley Humane Society, and I chair the Legislative Committee for the California Animal Welfare Association. I'm honored to serve as today's moderator. California has strong animal welfare values and many important laws governing the care, sale, transfer, sheltering, rescue, boarding, and breeding of companion animals. But no single state entity is responsible for making those laws work together. Responsibility is fragmented, information is incomplete, and the public and local agencies are too often left to navigate serious concerns without a clear statewide system. Today, animal welfare leaders, local government, law enforcement, and community advocates are calling on the California legislature and the next governor to establish a Bureau of Companion Animal Welfare within the Department of Food and Agriculture. The Bureau would create a consistent statewide foundation for licensing, inspections, complaint response, data and coordination, all while preserving the authority of local agencies. This is not about replacing local expertise. It is about giving California the infrastructure to spot problems earlier, support responsible organizations, and protect animals, consumers, and communities. Our first speaker today is Jill Tucker, CEO of the California Animal Welfare Association, also known as Cali Animals, the statewide professional association for animal shelters and animal control agencies. Please welcome Jill Tucker.
Thank you, Melanie, and thank you all for being here today. We really appreciate you and your time. California's animal welfare community is diverse. It includes municipal shelters, nonprofit humane societies, rescues, foster networks, sanctuaries, boarding providers, breeders, veterinarians, animal control officers, and many others. Most work every day to do right by the animals and the public. But they operate within a system that has no single statewide entity responsible for oversight across that landscape. This not only means inconsistent enforcement and standards, it means no accountability, transparency, or understanding of what is taking place across the thousands of organizations working to assist our companion animals. It means members of the public do not know where to report concerns. It means local agencies lack consistent, reliable information about current and potential rescue partners. And it means that terrific organizations may unknowingly be operating alongside bad actors. The proposed Bureau would give California the missing statewide foundation: registration and licensing, regular inspections and complaint investigation, coordination with local animal control, public health, and law enforcement, and collection and publication of meaningful statewide data. The framework is designed to be fair as well as effective. Local enforcement authority would be preserved. Licensing fees would be tiered by factors such as organization type, animal volume, facilities, and regulatory burden, and could not exceed the reasonable cost of regulation. Enforcement would be proportional with notice, an opportunity to correct most violations, and a right to appeal. An advisory committee would include shelters, rescues, breeders, veterinarians, boarding facilities, local governments, animal welfare organizations, and members of the public. Implementation could be phased, with licensing required by January 1st, 2030. Good organizations do not fear consistent standards. They will benefit from a system that recognizes responsible practice, makes expectations clear, and intervenes before smaller problems become devastating crises. We are asking legislators, the next governor, and stakeholders across California to work with us to establish this Bureau and build an oversight system worthy of California's values. Thank you.
Can we do this at the end?
To explain how this proposal was developed and what California can learn from Colorado's experience, please welcome Dr. Gary Weitzman, President and CEO of San Diego Humane Society.
Thank you, Mel. Okay. There we go, all set. San Diego Humane Society, we see every day how connected California's animal welfare system really is. Public shelters, humane societies, animal control agencies, and independent rescues rely on one another. We depend on that. Yet there's no consistent statewide foundation. Local expectations vary. The public has no single place to bring serious concerns, and responsible organizations lack a statewide partner that can help before problems become crises. And we've seen far too many of those this year. And that is why a dedicated committee of animal welfare professionals began working on this proposal 3 years ago. This proposal was not created and drafted in response to Miranda's rescue, Villa Chardonnay, or any other tragedy that occurred this year. Our work was well underway long before those cases came to light. Those tragedies did not create the need for a bureau. They exposed in painful and really urgent ways the consequences of gaps we had already identified. We also looked closely at Colorado's Pet Animal Care and Facilities Act, known as PACFA. This act has operated through the Colorado Department of Agriculture for more than 3 decades. Colorado licenses and inspects thousands of pet care facilities, investigates complaints, supports compliance, and acts when standards are not met. Following another formal review, Colorado renewed this program in 2024. This program was renewed in 2026. However, it now goes until 2034. California should not copy Colorado, not word for word, but Colorado's experience demonstrates that statewide oversight can be practical, durable, and informed by animal welfare expertise while remaining under the authority of an independent state regulator. So under a proposed model, the Bureau would be housed within the California Department of Food and Agriculture. The state, not Cal Animals, not San Diego Humane Society, not the ASPCA, or any other organization would employ the regulators, conduct inspections, investigate complaints, respond to the public, and enforce the law. The advisory committee would then provide the expertise for the state, but that committee would not control enforcement. That is really critical. So there's a profound difference between regulated organizations controlling a regulator and experienced professionals helping government understand the work that it's regulating. We agree that independence, transparency, and accountability are absolutely vital. They're written into law through balanced representation, public participation, conflict of interest safeguards, accessible complaint procedures, and meaningful enforcement. This is not a rushed proposal. We're asking the legislature and the next governor to begin a full public process in 2027 with hearings, stakeholder participation and feedback, and opportunities to strengthen it. The choice before California right now is not between independent oversight and animal welfare experience. A successful system needs both of those. After 3 years of hard work, we believe California is ready to build that system. Now is the time. We need to make this happen. Thank you.
To explain what this fragmentation looks like for a local public animal services agency, please welcome Joe DeVries, Director of Oakland Animal Services.
Thank you. Public animal shelters are really the front door for any community's animal needs. We respond when an animal is injured, lost, sick, dangerous, abandoned, neglected, or even just has nowhere else to go. And we do this every day with very limited space and very limited resources. But we always have a constant stream of vital decisions that we have to make. No shelter can do this work alone. Sorry. That's odd. No shelter can do this work alone. We rely on adopters, fosters, veterinarians, nonprofit partners, and rescue organizations, many of whom work well outside our immediate region. Those partnerships save lives, but the system asks local agencies to make these incredibly consequential placement and transfer decisions without consistent statewide source of basic information. Who is licensed? When were they last inspected? What animals did they take in? And what was the outcome for each and every one of those animals? We don't have answers to those questions right now, and we need them. A Bureau of Companion Animal Welfare will not take away local responsibility, and it should not make it harder for responsible organizations to serve the animals and the lives that they serve. And what it would do is make the network safer and more sustainable by setting baseline expectations, providing reliable information, and creating a clear place to raise a concern when you have one. This matters in urban communities, this matters in rural communities, and everywhere in between. Because we know in Oakland now, we learned this summer how painful that a problem in one jurisdiction can impact families and animals and lives hundreds of miles away. California needs a statewide system that reflects that reality. Local animal service leaders want to use our resources wisely, and we want to make decisions that we can defend to the public. Consistent licensing, transparent data, coordinated oversight would help us do that while strengthening the responsible rescue and shelter organizations on whom the communities truly depend. Thank you.
To speak about the consequences when concerns reach a catastrophic scale, please welcome Jace Huggins, Vice President and Chief of Humane Law Enforcement at San Diego Humane Society.
Thank you, Melanie. On May 1st, San Diego Humane Society served a search warrant at Villa Chardonnay Sanctuary in San Diego County, and we assumed responsibility for 728 animals. They included 446 cats, 30 dogs, 175 horses, and 70 farm animals. On the property, we encountered animals that were suffering from malnutrition, emaciation, untreated wounds, infections, inadequate husbandry, and a lack of basic medical care. Some of these animals required extensive veterinary treatment, while others were in such critical condition that humane euthanasia was the only option to end their suffering. This was not a single-day response. It required investigators, animal care staff, veterinarians, transport teams, facility support, supplies, and long-term placement and volunteer partners. The effects continue long after paperwork's filed and the cameras leave. The animals require individualized treatment and recovery, and the organizations who respond to these incidents must absorb an extraordinary operational and financial burden. But the reality is these situations rarely appear overnight. In many large-scale cases, there are warning signs long before a search warrant is served. Concerns may be reported, conditions may gradually deteriorate. People may see pieces of the problem, but no one has a complete picture. By the time animal law enforcement is called in, the situation has often already reached a crisis point. California currently lacks a consistent statewide system to identify risks early, gather reliable information, and ensure concerns are reviewed before they escalate into emergencies. Local law enforcement will always have a critical role. A Bureau of Companion Animal Welfare should not replace search warrants, criminal investigations, or prosecutorial decisions. Those responsibilities properly lie and belong with the law enforcement and the courts. What a Bureau can do is help create earlier opportunities for intervention through licensing, inspections, complaint tracking, reporting requirements. It can provide visibility where today there are gaps, and it can help responsible organizations address problems before they become overwhelming. And it can also help regulators identify serious concerns before hundreds of animals are affected. No regulatory system can promise that no harm will ever occur, but it can provide trained professionals with better information, clearer authority, and earlier points of intervention. That's going to be better for animals, fairer to responsible providers, and far less costly for communities than mobilizing only after a situation becomes catastrophic. California's animal cruelty laws are important, but enforcement alone is not enough. As someone who has investigated animal cruelty cases for the last 15 years, I can tell you that our greatest successes are not in our seizures, our warrants, or our prosecutions. Our greatest successes are and will always be when we prevent suffering before it happens. That's why California needs an oversight system designed not only to respond if needed, but to detect warning signs, support compliance, and coordinate action before a crisis reaches this scale. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Brittany Bennessy, Senior Legislative Director for the ASPCA's Western Division.
Thank you, Melanie. The ASPCA works with communities across the country, and from that national vantage point, we see local shelters doing increasingly complex work, responding to cruelty and disasters, providing veterinary and behavioral care, helping families keep their pets, and finding positive outcomes for animals entering their doors. We also see what happens when local systems operate for too long without sufficient staffing, reliable data, coordinated planning, or a clear source of support. Dedicated shelter teams can be pushed into crisis even when they are working incredibly hard, doing everything they can with the resources available. National organizations like the ASPCA and Best Friends Animal Society often step in with funding, expertise, training, transport, direct operational support. Those partnerships are vital, and we are proud to be a part of them. Los Angeles offers a powerful current example. This summer, the city approved a 3-year, $14 million initiative from the ASPCA and Best Friends to support LA Animal Services across its 6 shelters. The partnership will fund 23 critical city positions and embed 4 experienced professionals from the 2 organizations alongside LA Animal Services staff and leadership. This partnership is focused on preventing unnecessary shelter intake, improving in-shelter care and operational efficiency, and increasing positive outcomes through adoption, foster care, and reunification, enhancing the work being done already by LA Animal Services. It is an extraordinary investment in one of the largest municipal shelter systems in the country, and it is also a reminder of the statewide infrastructure California is missing. Local agencies should not have to reach a breaking point before the scale of their needs become visible or before major outside operational support can be assembled. A bureau would not replace local authority, philanthropy, or partnerships with national organizations. It could provide continuous data, identify emergency capacity and compliance problems, connect agencies with expertise, and coordinate support earlier. That earlier line of sight can help shelters stabilize before challenges become crises and allow outside partners to reinforce a functioning system instead of having to rebuild one under pressure. The ASPCA urges California legislature and the next governor to work with this coalition to establish a Bureau of Companion Animal Welfare, one that strengthens humane care, transparency, and accountability while giving local shelters the consistent statewide partner they need. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Before we close, I want to share a statement from Humboldt County Sheriff William Hansel. Sheriff Hansel intended to be here with us today, but a new fire in Humboldt County requires his presence in the region as the county's chief emergency responder. We appreciate his leadership and are grateful that he provided the following statement. The investigation into Miranda's rescue has highlighted the need for greater accountability and transparency for organizations entrusted with animals. Law enforcement is designed to investigate suspected crimes after evidence comes to light. It is not a substitute for routine licensing, inspections, and reliable reporting. A statewide bureau will give California an earlier line of sight into how animals are received, cared for, transferred, and adopted, while preserving the authority of local agencies. Better information and coordination can help us respond sooner and protect both animals and the public. I'd like to express our gratitude to Sheriff Hansel for sharing his perspective. Our thoughts are with the Humboldt County community and all those responding to the fire. Because the investigation remains active, we ask that all questions specific to the Miranda's rescue case be referred to the Sheriff's Office. I want to thank all of our speakers today. Today you have heard the same problem from several vantage points: a statewide association, nonprofit animal welfare leadership, a municipal animal services agency, humane law enforcement, a national animal protection organization, and county law enforcement. California's companion animal system is interconnected, but its oversight is fragmented. The answer is not to assume that every rescue, shelter, sanctuary, breeder, or boarding facility is doing something wrong. The answer is to establish fair, consistent expectations, verify compliance, give the public a clear reporting path, publish useful information, and support local agencies before concerns become a crisis. We are calling on the California legislature and the next governor to establish a Bureau of Companion Animal Welfare within the Department of Food and Agriculture. We invite lawmakers, local governments, veterinary professionals, responsible animal care providers, and community advocates to join this effort and help us shape an effective, balanced system.